Guys doing? Jeff and Carolyn here. We were just talking the other night about getting in touch with you and
trying to stay connected with everybody and get everybody connected and maybe learn something about each other.
as best we can in this very
Process.
inconvenient time for most of us. And the thing that we were talking about last night is maybe focusing on some of the positives of being trapped at your house with your family. Because I think
Now we know what he thinks about this, right? He feels trapped.
it's not. No, it's not. But I think a lot of us, a lot of us that have jobs that have been shut down, a lot of us that have routines that have been messed up during all this time, it's easy to focus on the negatives and focus on things that are different in a bad way. But Carol and I were talking about some of the things that we've noticed with our family because we have to be here and aren't supposed to be going anywhere and doing anything. And the first thing when she mentioned it, the first thing I thought was we're eating dinner as a family together every night.
We did a lot before, but it was like after we left the gym about 8:30 at night.
Yeah,
so.
eating dinner at 9 o'clock, and Luke being at college, he wasn't here, and now we're whole, we're all here, and so it's a very valuable time. I think it's something that we miss in our culture today, in our society today, is you a lot of your values, a lot of your parenting, it happens around that dinner table, and in a relatively low stress situation where you're not confronted with a certain problem at a certain time, but it's a time to reflect and relax and enjoy the food that you're eating with the people that you love the most. So I have noticed I really have missed. I didn't know I had missed it, but I had missed that time that we have together. It's just it's a special time that most of us take for granted because our lives are so busy and so fast, and we don't really have time to stop and think about the things that we miss.
All right, one more question.
Yeah.
What outside of that has been your favorite thing of our new routine, I guess?
My favorite thing is watching my kids help us around the house, working, having some labor, free labor. No, just spending time together is kind of like what I would imagine, 50, 60, 70 years ago. My mom grew up on a farm. She had 5 brothers, and that's what they did every day, is they spent their days working on the farm together. They ate their meals together. They did things together. They rarely went and did anything else because that's all they did was work. But just having them around. We cleaned out some of the back of the house. I was on the chainsaw and the boys were dragging stuff out, and Carolyn and Riley were working in the yard, and everybody just kind of pulling together to do something in common. It's just neat, that we're not on video games, we're not on our phones, we're not doing all those distractions that we typically do. So that would be having them around, and then like in the evenings they go play together. They're not too old to do stuff together. It's really cool to see our children interact with each other in a quasi-adult / teenage way. So I think just having them around, and I know some of you have smaller children, younger children, so the dynamic is completely different. But we can tell you from our perspective that time that you're in right now that feels like it's never going to end ever, eventually they do.
You hear that all the time from people.
And
they told us, and
yeah.
we're like, whatever.
Enjoy it while you can, because it goes by too fast.
You can't enjoy it while you're in it. Never.
Yeah, no, and you can't, because you're changing diapers and you're dealing with creatures that need you a lot more than ours need us right now, as far as the day-to-day survival. So just having them all together, watching them play and interact with each other, having us as a family do things together like ride around together as a family. We hadn't done that in years because somebody's always somewhere, or we're going to somebody's game and somebody else's other game, and two games going at the same time. So it's just a blessed time to recognize your family and recognize the dynamics that you have within your family.
My answer is a little more selfish. What are
Okay.
you going to ask me?
No, go ahead. Answer your own questions. Answer your own questions. Can you tell whose idea this was?
My answer's a little more selfish, and it's going to be a really hard habit to break, but mine is sleeping in.
She's good at it. Really good at it. I've gotten better. I've gotten better at it.
That's been really nice because I like to stay up late. I get a lot done at night. It's kind of quiet time, and so being able to actually get my 8 and 9 hours of sleep, which if you figure that out, if I'm going to bed late, then I'm sleeping in kind of late. So that's been really nice, is getting enough sleep for me.
Carolyn's a night owl. That's how she.
So he teaches the early classes.
I know it, but I'm more of a morning person, and I'm more of a go to bed early and get up early, and she's just wired about 4 hours differently than I am.
But it works. It works for us.
And she gets cranked up about 9 o'clock. That's when she really gets going, and that's when I'm ready to go to bed.
So that was what I.
That it?
That's one thing I've.
Wow. I talked about family and togetherness, and she talked about laying in bed till 10 o'clock.
Because usually I get like 5 or 6 hours of sleep. So, yeah. Can you tell I'm all refreshed?
Yeah. This is
Be
good.
ready to go.
Can't tell the difference here, though, can you? So we just wanted to, take a few minutes and act like we're talking to you.
But we want you to respond. So we want everybody to respond and leave a message and what you have enjoyed about this time. Because there's a lot that we don't, and there's a lot that we complain about during this time. But what are some things that you have enjoyed about this time of forced quarantine? And let us know. And I think we can just use this to get to know each other. And we're going to try to do this pretty often throughout the week and just talk about different things. And the time when we're usually at the whiteboard that people like to talk and chat, that's what this is right now.
And now y'all can talk while we're talking, and we
right.
don't even know.
So,
don't even know. Doesn't bother me at all. Mary Catherine, it doesn't bother me at all that you're talking right now.
We don't have a whole lot of time when we're in class to chat and get to know each other. So maybe this will be what we get out of this whole quarantine experience, is really getting to know each other and becoming even closer as our CrossFit Change family.
So your assignment is think of something positive, put that positive down at the bottom, and we can kind of share our positives with each other for today. See you guys. We'll be back, and we'll talk to you again. Maybe not from the back porch, but
Porch talks.
Yeah, we'll talk to you from somewhere.